What's going on, folks? Just wanted to check in. Last week was a little lighter on the running side. I ended it with 10 miles and about 17 or 1800 feet of climbing. Didn't get out too much. I had a lot of family commitments and a lot of homework for school, but I'm glad that I'm heading towards the end of classes, and family time is always great, so I can't complain about that. I got out for a few repeats on the 50-foot cliffs. And it's always a good spot to get some climbing in. And there was a lot of slugs and poison ivy, so I'm sure my legs are going to start itching any moment now. Today I wanted to share 10 things that I learned from running my first 100 miler. So let's get into it. Number 1, a poorly placed bandana is a wonderful thing. I'll tell you, during Riverlands I had a bandana wrapped around my head, and when it got hot, I was able to easily take that off, put it in some water like in a creek crossing, and cool myself down. It also served really well with protecting me from the heat when I just kind of laid it out and banded over my neck and over my ears and under my hat. That was fantastic, and that also kind of kept the bugs away from flying into my ears. Number 2, be cautious of how much time you spend in an aid station. I normally like to be in and out as quick as possible just to kind of save time, but I know during loops 3 and 4 I spent more time than I probably should have there, and all for the right reasons. I got to sit in a chair, change my shoes, eat some soup, things like that, but thinking back, I probably could have saved myself a few minutes. 3, ginger candies are your friend. There were times in the race where my stomach was starting to feel kind of iffy, and I was like, oh man, I really can't run too much, otherwise, I don't know, I'm gonna have to go hide in the woods. But whenever that happened, I pulled out a ginger candy, popped it in my mouth, even though I wasn't hungry, didn't want to eat anything, let it sit there, and I don't know, that stuff's like a miracle. It just kind of helps settle my stomach and make it so I can keep running. Number 4, you'll get sick of sugar. That's true. You're spending all day drinking Gatorade or some other electrolyte mix. You're eating your goos, you're eating your shot blocks or maple syrup, and after a while, all the sugar really starts to kind of bug you. At least I got sick of it pretty early on. I was grateful that there was aid stations with real food, but that's something that I'm gonna kind of plan ahead with. Number 5, you'll move slower at night. There's a lot of reasons for it. You've been on your legs all day, you've been moving all day, it's harder to see, sometimes hallucinations start to set in, and yeah, I know I moved really slow. That was my slowest loop of the race. Number 6, it's okay to change your plans. There were many times during the race where I was moving at a certain pace and I was very focused on hitting goals. As the race carried on, the weather started to change, it got hotter out, I needed to adjust, and I had to be okay with that. So being okay with that ahead of time really prepped me for it. So I changed my time goals not only once, but up to 3 times, and at the end of the day, I was grateful to be able to get it done. Number 7, take care of your feet early. I've heard many people say this before, and I never knew what they meant. I've never really had issues with my feet, but after mile 50, I started to have blisters, and it was starting to look like trench foot. Now, I have to do a better job at understanding how to take care of my feet, but since I haven't had this happen before, it was kind of new to me, so I'll be doing some research. Number 8, DOMS, also known as delayed onset muscle soreness. Now, that is something I haven't really experienced before. After running the race, I felt pretty good, much better than I thought I should have, and it wasn't until 2 days later where I woke up and my feet were swollen. I couldn't even fit them in shoes. I was extremely sore in my legs, my back. I felt like I had a calf strain, and I had to take it light with running for a few weeks, almost up to a month. So delayed onset muscle soreness is something to be aware of. Number 9, dark places. Now, I've heard a lot of people refer to going to a dark place in the past, and I've been there a little bit during a 50 and during a 100K, but never like this. You know, it really sank in. I got really scared of time cutoffs and just facing failure, and that was kind of difficult. But you have to remember the reason why you're there, who you're running for, and if it's not yourself, then why run at all? You know, yes, there's going to be people that influence you on running and people that you want to run for, but at the end of the day, this is a mission that you're on. And finally, number 10, it's okay to lean on people. At the end of the day, nobody wants to see you DNF, and there are a lot of great resources out there. Aid stations, crews, even other runners. Yeah, you might be competing with them, but they don't want to see you injure yourself. They don't want to see you not make it to the end. They just want you to be behind them, and maybe not so close. But I heavily relied on my crew. Every time I came into the aid station where they were allowed, they did a great job of taking care of me, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have had the same race. You know, my pacer did a phenomenal job keeping me awake during the night and entertained so that I wouldn't fall asleep. And the aid stations, they had a lot of great food, and I mean, who's gonna drag out a stove and cook bacon in the middle of the woods? So yeah, it's definitely great to lean on people, and at the end of the day, we're all on a mission and we're all trying to accomplish it together. So that's 10 things I learned from running my first 100 miler. I have another one coming up. Yep, Vermont. I mentioned it quite a few times, but yeah, I'm going to take what I've learned from my first one and see what I can do to improve it for going forward. Now, if you learned something different from your first 100-mile experience or running ultras in general, feel free to drop it in the comments because I'd love to know. And if you like what I'm doing, make sure you like and subscribe. So I'm hoping to kind of keep going with this thing. So we'll talk to you later. All right, everyone, keep running. Peace.